Hi, I am Alok JHA. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are beginning a very important series based on a summary of Upinder Singh's book. I believe most of you are already aware of the immense importance of this book for the civil services examination. Over the years, it has become almost like a Bhagavad Gita for civil services aspirants because of its depth, authenticity, and comprehensive coverage of ancient Indian history. So, bacho, this book is very important. Idea is you have to use this book even for your general studies. Earlier, we were recommending this book for optional, but seeing the pattern of the recent question papers, we have to use this book for even general studies. So, in this series, we will go through the book page by page, explaining every important concept in a simple and exam oriented manner. We will cover all the major themes, connect them with the UPSC syllabus, and discuss important facts, concepts, and interpretations. Along the way, we will also practice multiple choice questions, even mains questions to strengthen our understanding while appreciating the historical narrative presented in the book. So, let us begin this exciting learning together. Although the book contains 10 major chapters, so we have 10 chapters. We have 10 chapters, right? So 10 major chapters. But it does not begin directly with the historical narrative. So it's this book is not starting with the first chapter, understanding the sources, right? So we have 10 major chapters regarding sources, prehistory, Harappan civilization, Vedic age, age of Mahajanpadas, Mauryan Empire. Then you have post-Mauryan Empire. Then we have Gupta Empire. Then we have some regional kingdom till 1200 CE. So it includes some area of early medieval India also. Fine. So I was trying to explain that this book is not starting with the first chapter. It starts with right some basic ideas, basic issues. So before entering the main discussion, right, we will go for some introductory thing which is mentioned in the book. Fine. So we will be taking the main discussion later, but first we will take up some introductory issues, correct? And these introductory issues, it lays the foundation for the understanding the rest of the book. So don't consider these introductory issues as irrelevant. You have to concentrate. Fine. So we will carefully discuss these introductory ideas, and always remember these introductory ideas are essential for building a clear understanding of the themes that follow. Fine. So what all introductory ideas we will discuss, right? In this book, before they start the sources chapter, right? They explain some ideas regarding the description, right? Regarding a description of India, description in Puranas, right? So the story, the book starts with the description of Earth in Puranas and India in Puranas. Fine, and then you will see in this book they talked about they talk about Bharat Varsha, Bharat Vars, Bharat Varsha. Then they talked about many ideas like they talk about you will see that how right the name of the Bharata, name of the this India, uh, you know uh, appeared. So the name then what all foreigners in ancient India, outsiders in ancient India, they mentioned about India, or ancient foreign reference to India. So in this chapter, you will see that also. Then we also see they talk about some geographical zones of India. So we will mention that also, right? So page by page, right? We will try to cover. And then they mentioned what is history, right? So they mentioned what is history. They mentioned how history is classified, right? So classification of history. Fine. So these are some themes. Then they also mentioned, right, that how script is important, and what all example we have regarding ancient script. So these all ideas we have in the introductory chapter. And then, right, some historical analysis, different interpretations, colonial, nationalist, right? So all this we will, right, discuss in this chapter. So this, right, would be our first video. Fine. And introductory thing. So like what all introductory thing like they have mentioned, like number one, they talked about description in Puranas. So have you heard about Puranas? Puranas, it is generally considered that it's an ancient text, and the name Purana, so it contains stories, parables, right, descriptions, and don't consider it only as a religious source, because it contains many things, right? We have many things in the as a theme in Puranas. Generally, it is said that there were 18 Mahapuranas and there were many Upapuranas. Fine. And what all themes we have in Puranas? It talks about Sarga, Pratisarga, right? So Puranas is a very important book, very important ancient text. It talks about not only religious thing but secular thing also. It talks about geography, it talks about cosmology, right? It talks about, right, the time. So generally it is said that it talks about five themes. Like if you have heard about it, like Sarga. Sarga is creation. Then Pratisarga. It is recreation, Pratisarga. Then Manvantara, time, Manvantara. Then we have genealogies of gods and rishis, Vams. And we have account of royal dynasties, Vansanu Charita, Vamsanu Charita, Vamsanu Charita. Vamsanu Charita. These are the five themes generally. So, what you should keep in your mind that Puranas are very important, not only for a religious point of view, but also because of because of its, the description of geography, then a description of gods and rishis, royal dynasties. So historically also Puranas are very important, right? So Robila Thapar always talk about our itihas, Puran, Parampara. Fine. So Puranas are very important, a historical text. So this book starts with, right, some references of Puranas. It talks about, right, universe. Puranas also talk about universe. It talks about earth. It's talked about India. So what all it talked about? What all it talked about? Right. So this we have to remember. So it talked about universe, and it suggests, all this is very important. The Puranas describe a universe, and the universe, they say that it's shaped like an egg. Brahmand, if you are familiar with this word, Brahmand and egg. So Puranas describe a universe shaped like an egg, vertically divided into celestial worlds, earth and nether worlds. So if you have heard about what Swargalok, Prithvi Lok, Patal Lok, so this is Swargalok, this is Earth, Prithvi Lok, this is Patal Lok. So Puranas talk about that. Then Purana also consider Earth as a flat disk. Remember this flat disk. Can you see this photo? Right, flat disk consisting of seven land masses called Varsas. Right, and arranged in a concentric circles, altering with seas of salt water, molasses, wine, butter, curd, milk, and fresh water. So this kind of description is something uh, complex, but in examination it can be asked. So what all you can remember? The Puranas describes universe as a egg divided into three: Swargalok, celestial worlds; Earthlok, earth; and Patal-lok. And then, what about Earth? Earth is a flat disk. Can you see that? Flat disk. Can you see? Flat disk. And we have seven. So, in seven, Earth is, right? Earth is consisting of seven land masses called Varsas arranged in concentric circle and alternating with seas of salt water, molasses, wine, butter, curd, milk, and fresh water. And in the center of the earth, we have Jambu Dweep, right? Can you see Jambu Dweep? Right, Jambu Dweep. Can you see Jambu Dweep? And in the south of the Jambu Dweep, right? So in the center of the earth, we have Jambu Dweep, and in the south of the Jambu Dweep, we have Bharat Varsa. And in the center of the Bharat Varsa, we have the golden, right? Meru Mountain. I hope you can see that. Meru Mountain. So, this kind of description we have in our Puranas. Fine. So, you should remember that. You can, whenever you listen to all these ideas, you will always feel that no, these kind of information would not be asked. Believe me, right? The kind of pattern we see now in UPSC examination, even this kind of question can be asked, right? So suppose on this information, what kind of question you can expect from UPSC? Just see, try to solve this question. If you have understood it, what would be the answer of this question? Tell me. In the context of Puranic description of the universe, consider the following statement. The Puranas describe the universe as being shaped like an egg and divided into celestial world, earth, and nether worlds. Nether. The earth is depicted as a spherical globe divided into seven continents separated by oceans. Jambudvip is situated at the center of the earth. Have you heard about Jambudvip? Right? So Jambudvip situated at the center of the earth, and Bharatvarsha lies in its southernmost part. Mount Meru is described as rising from the middle of the Bharatvarsha. So, can you tell me the answer of this? I'm not going to tell you the answer of this today. Right? So, you have to write the answer in the comment if you are seriously, right, listening to me, and if you want me to continue this very challenging series. So, will you write the answer of this question in the comment box? I will wait for that answer. Correct. So, in the first chapter, introductory chapter, this kind of theme we have. Now, come to the second theme. Upinder Singh talked about Bharat Varsha, and she said that one of the several explanation of the name Bharat Varsha connects it with the Bharata people, descendants of the legendary king Bharata, son of Dushyant and Sakuntala. Fine. So, this name Bharat Varsha, one explanation of this name is that it is connected with Bharat, Raja Bharat, who was the son of Dushyant and Sakuntala. Fine. And Bharat Varsha is said to consist of nine division, separated from one another by seas. So Upinder Singh mentioned this also. Then the third thing Upinder Singh mentioned, that what all foreigners or the foreign the accounts mentioned about the ancient India. Fine. So what all reference we have? Suppose in ancient period Chinese, how they referred to India, how Megasthenes, how Megasthenes referred to India, how Arabian and Persian text, Arabian and Persian text referred to India. This kind of question can be asked, right? So these kind of word, suppose in Persian inscription, what is the term used for India? So Upinder Singh mentioned that, right? You want to see what all term they mentioned? See, and you can note down also, right? So keep making a good notes, right? So that you can revise Upinder Singh in one go. So it will take around 50, 60 sessions, right? Probably 60 sessions, short sessions to complete the entire book. And right, you all will have to support me, right, in this journey, correct? Fine. So ancient Chinese sources refer to the land as Sentu. Will you remember that? Sentu. This kind of question can be asked. Ancient Chinese sources refer to the land, right, refer to the land of Sentu. This is the our reference in our context. Greek text mention India, that is fine. Persian inscription describe Hindu as one of the subject countries of the Achaemenian Darius, Achaemenian king Darius. Hindu, and Chinese referred to India as Sentu, Sentu. Right? This kind of question they have already asked in UPPCS. UPSC will also ask. Megasthenes use the term India only. Then Arabic and Persian texts use the word Hindustan, Hindustan, and the people living in Hindustan, they were Hindu. So this kind of description we have. This kind of description we have. So this all this you have to remember. Fine. Then in this first introductory topic, Upinder Singh talked about main physiographical, right, main physiographical zones of the subcontinent. So she mentioned main physiographic zones of the subcontinent. So it talked about different areas of Indian subcontinent, well-defined geographical frontiers, but with enormous ecological diversity. And don't think that these zones, geographical zones, they were isolated. They, right, they have never been isolated units, and there was always human interaction. You have heard about many passes, suppose Bolan passes. So even Himalayas, it was not actually making this area isolated. There were passes, people were entering it through these passes. Fine. So Upinder Singh talked about main physiographical zones. It is a part of geography, but still, right? She mentioned it, so therefore we are mentioning. And she talked about different zones: Himalayan zones, northwestern zones, Thar Desert zone, Indo-Gangetic zones, Central India zones, Peninsular India, Deccan area, Coastal Plain, Southern Hill, right, then the coastal maritime zone, right? So she talked about all these zones, and she asserted that these zones were, of course, not isolated units, right? So there was always human interaction. Fine. Then the next thing, she said that what is history? She suggested, right, two three points regarding history. She said the history is an English word. It's an English word. History is an English word, and it is derived from, you can say, the Greek word historia. Historia, and historia meaning is inquiry, experience of the people, investigation, what you call anusandhan, inquiry, investigation. So it derived from the Greek word, and history is essentially a discipline which inquires into the experience of the, right, the human past, right? So she said history, the English word history comes from the Greek historia, inquiry or investigation. And she said that history is essentially a discipline that inquires into the experience of people who lived in the past. Experience, it's all about experiences of people, past experience, right? Inquiry into that experience, investigation into that experience. Fine. Then she talked about dividing the Indian past, how we should divide the Indian past, periodization of the Indian past. So the next issue she talked about in this topic is, in this introductory topic, is periodization of the Indian past. She suggested that regarding Indian history, earlier our colonial historian divided Indian history into three parts, right? Probably they had their different agenda, like the Hindu period, Muslim period, and British period, right? This kind of division they had. But it is not acceptable. I hope you understand why, because it had some communal tinge, right? So this kind of interpretation is not now acceptable. Now we divide ancient, right, then medieval, sometime early medieval, and then modern. This kind of division we follow. And we divide even ancient into what you call prehistory, then proto history, and then history, right? So I hope you all are familiar with it. So this kind of periodization we follow now. So we divide Indian history into three part: ancient, medieval, and modern. And then we divide ancient also in prehistory, proto history, and history. So Upinder Singh mentioned that for a long time historians divided Indian history into Hindu, Muslim, and British period, but now we follow ancient, early medieval, right, medieval, modern. And right, when ancient India should stop, when early medieval should begin, this kind of the debate is still there. But generally we consider that from the earliest time to 6th century CE, from the 6th century CE we have ancient, then we have early medieval. From 6th to, you can say, 13th century we have early medieval, and then we have medieval. And then from 13th to 18th we have medieval, and then after 18th century, you all know that we have modern India. We consider modern India. So this is a general acceptance, right? So general consensus. And then I told you that even ancient India is also divided into prehistory, proto history, and history. So prehistory is what, right? No written material, no script, nothing. And proto history is what, we have script, but it has not been deciphered. And history is, we have a written tradition and we are using it. Fine. So even ancient India is divided: prehistory, proto history, and history. And this term proto history is slightly confusing, because generally we consider Harappan civilization as proto history, but archaeologists even include Neolithic and Chalcolithic also, right, in proto history. So this proto history is slightly confusing, correct? So like if you have history optional, you must be knowing that even Neolithic and Chalcolithic is included in the proto history. So this kind of classification we have, periodization we have, correct? Done. Now, so script is important, because without script we were in the prehistory, we were totally dependent on archaeology. And with his script we are entering into proto history. So what is ancient, right? Any idea about ancient script? Do you have any idea about ancient script? Script developed earlier, or language developed earlier? Language developed earlier, script later, है ना? Correct. We have evidence of some ancient script: Mesopotamian script, Egyptian script, right? What kind of script we have of Mesopotamia, Egyptian script? What was the name of that? And one ancient script we have, Harappan script, which is found generally on seals, but it has not been deciphered, correct? So Upinder Singh mentioned that we have different evidence of script. Can you see Mesopotamian script? It is called cuneiform. Remember this word, cuneiform. Mesopotamian. Then we have Egyptian hieroglyphics. Remember these terms, hieroglyphics, Egyptian. And then we have Harappan script, and it is Bostrophodon, it is pictographic, but no final word for this Harappan script yet, correct? So Upinder Singh mentioned that human beings used language long before they invented scripts, and the cuneiform script of Mesopotamia and Egyptian hieroglyphics. We have some idea about Mesopotamian script, Egyptian script, deciphered also, but we don't have clear-cut idea about Harappan script. Right? It is mostly found on seals and ceilings. Right? Even in Dholavira also we have one inscription of the bigger script. But generally, so if they ask you what is the ancient oldest script of India, so that would be Harappan script. It is fine. If they ask you what is the oldest script of India, so it would be Harappan. But if they ask you what is the oldest deciphered script, have you heard about James Prinsep? Right, oldest deciphered script. So it is what? It is Brahmi. So this you have to remember, oldest. So around 4th century BCE, we have a Brahmi script, and it has been deciphered also, right? Even Asokan inscription, you have the idea that even Brahmi script was used, correct? So these things you have to remember. So even still the story of writing is not very clear, and Upinder Singh mentioned that the story of writing is still a bit complicated, right? So in UPSC main also you can think about this kind of question, that in Indian subcontinent the story of writing is a bit complicated. We have Harappan script, but after Harappan script, Vedic age again missing. Oral tradition is there, no written. Then we have again Brahmi. Then we have different type of Brahmi. We will see that. So the story of writing in the Indian subcontinent is complex because of, right, because we don't have clear-cut evidence, continuous sequence we don't have, right? And earliest evidence of writing we have Harappan script, but you know that it remains undeciphered, making it impossible to determine, right, its language content. After that, after the decline of Harappans, again there was a long gap. This is very challenging. After Harappan also there is a long gap of nearly a millennium. We don't have a written record. The Vedic tradition relied primarily on oral transmission, right? Then the first written evidence we are getting in the Asokan inscription. We have Brahmi script, Kharoshthi script, then some other script. Fine. So the story of the history of writing in Indian subcontinent is still very complex. Fine. And we have to wait for, right, getting this continuity. So right, so we have discussed some aspect of the first topic. We have to add some more aspect, right, in the first topic, and then we can take up the chapter 1, sources. Fine. So hope you appreciate, right? I'm starting this journey, and this journey will continue, right? So stay tuned, and thank you for joining.